Boring Breakdown. Today we're going to be discussing how to deal with an unorthodox kick-heavy fighter such as Francisco Filho here in the green shorts. Now, this is a difficult topic because at best it generally leads to a boring low-activity fight. And the reason is the unorthodox kicker is completely content to sit behind their long range tools and will not necessarily initiate attacks too often. We're going to discuss how Ernesto Hoost employed a few strategies that were able to bypass the unorthodox long-range techniques of Francisco Filho. Let's jump in. The first strategy is being too far from your opponent. Now, we're going to touch a bit more on this later, but let's go ahead and jump into the first example. Here, Filho sets up the spin sidekick, but what's important is before the spin sidekick, notice this distance between Hoost and Filho here. This is markedly increased when compared to an orthodox fighter where Ernesto Hoost can be a bit closer. Because of the long-range unorthodox techniques, Hoost has to maintain a larger distance. And because he keeps this distance, he's able to simply pull back on the spin sidekick. When you do decide to mount offense against an unorthodox kicker, it's a good idea to throw feint in with your attacks. Here, we're going to see Hoost slowly creeping forward towards Filho. Notice here, in this range, Filho does not throw the jab out there to keep Hoost away. He doesn't really throw too many other distractions. He's content to simply lean back and get into that guarded posture with the chamber high. Now let's look at what Hoost specifically does after the creep in. From here, he's going to get the range that he feels comfortable going. Once he goes, let's look at this right hand that he shows Filho, brings up Filho's left glove and left knee. That right hand had no intention of landing. It's only to pull Filho into this knee shield and lead arm extended guard so he can go to the body and then chop the low kick. So let's look at that one more time. Again, the most important part of this sequence being that rear hand feint of Ernesto Hoost to set up the body shot and low kick. Now that we're discussing feints, let's discuss what to do when you get a chamber happy opponent and playing with bringing their chamber up and attacking when they put it back down. Here, we're going to see Hoost on that same creeping motion. We're going to see a feint from Hoost, which pulls Filho's chambered leg up. As it drops back down, there's a split second where you relax. That's when Hoost decides to come in with a left hook and Filho ties him up. So let's watch one more time. Feint from Hoost, brings up the chambered leg. As it comes down, Hoost decides to fire in. The last strategy is to crash in on an unorthodox kicker. Now, this is one of the riskier strategies because during a crash, you could get caught. That said, it is great for interrupting an unorthodox kicker to crash and break in the range during their attack. Let's watch. Now, this specific sequence is important because it highlights how ugly a crash can get. Here, Filho throws the low kick, Hoost high guards, and breaks the distance using that low kick as the bridging opportunity. Now, this is a very common example of where a crashing strategy can lead. It can allow the unorthodox kicker to clinch up with you. Hoost does a good job here by using the forearm to create the distance. Notice the forearm pressure in Filho's neck/jaw area here, where he tries to initiate some further boxing, but again, they end up in a clinch. Now, this is one of the realities of a crashing strategy. That said, it doesn't take away that this is an amazing opportunity to initiate your own offense. And even though it may end in a clinch, here Hoost was still able to get that clean left hook off. So something to definitely keep in the toolbox. Don't just throw it away. There are opportunities where you can crash and score big points without getting clinched. Thank you guys so much for watching how to beat an unorthodox kicker. This is a topic that I receive in my DMs quite often, understandably so, as these types of fighters are very difficult to deal with. Remember, these fights may not be the most exciting fights. They may not win fight of the night, but there is a way to beat these types of athletes, even if it may lead to a boring outcome. Again, hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, if you have any questions or comments, hit them up below. Feel free to follow Boring Breakdowns on Instagram at Boring Breakdowns. And if you guys would like any custom film studies, whether you have a fight coming up or you'd like your favorite fighter analyzed, go ahead and check the link in the description below. Thanks so much, guys, for watching Boring Breakdowns.